All right, let's dive into the world of offset printing. Today, we're getting you ready for that interview.
But not just any interview.
You're right, not just any interview, we're going to get specific. We've got real interview questions and insights straight from RoleCatcher.
This is a cool field. You get to be technical and creative. You're like a color maestro, a master of mechanics, bringing designs to life on paper, cardboard, you name it.
I know, I'm already thinking about printing my own t-shirts.
But hold on, first we've got to get you the job.
Right. So RoleCatcher's Guide has 10 common offset printer interview questions. We're going to break down each one. You ready to tackle?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Okay, question 1. What experience do you have with offset printing? Seems simple, right? But what's the interviewer really trying to figure out here?
Well, they want to know if you've actually worked with an offset press.
Right.
Do you understand the basics, transferring the ink from plate to blanket to the final surface?
Okay, so even if you don't have tons of experience, you can still make a good impression. How would you suggest someone with limited experience answers this?
Think back to anything you've done. Maybe helped set up a press or watched how it runs, even shadowed someone at a print shop.
So any hands-on involvement at all.
Exactly. And don't forget any courses you've taken, training programs, or even personal projects that relate.
Anything that shows you got some experience, however you got it. Now, I bet the next question is something like, what specifically about offset printing interests you?
Probably. They want to see your genuine interest.
So what would be a good answer to that?
Think about what really sparked your interest.
Yeah.
Was it the precision of color matching, or were you fascinated by how the press itself works? Find what really got you hooked, and let that enthusiasm come through.
Okay, makes sense. On to question 2. How do you ensure the quality of printed materials? This feels like it's all about attention to detail.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about being a quality control guru.
Okay, so how do you impress them with this one?
Take them through your process, step by step. Do you meticulously check the colors against proofs? Are you super careful with registration, making sure each ink layer lines up perfectly?
Oh yeah, gotta have those colors lined up just right.
Exactly. And do you have a system for making sure the paper's aligned? The more detail you give, the better.
And this might be a good time to mention any special tools you know how to use.
Definitely, yeah. Things like densitometers or colorimeters.
Those are like the pro tools, right?
Exactly. Showing the tools of the trade adds to your credibility. Now, they might throw a curveball and ask something like, tell me about a time you dealt with a quality issue. How'd you fix it?
Okay, good point.
Have a good example in mind that shows off your problem-solving skills.
All right, question 3. How do you handle equipment, maintenance, and repair? Now, this sounds more technical.
Yeah, this one's about knowing your way around the machinery.
So what are they looking for here?
They want to see if you get that these offset presses need regular maintenance. Can you troubleshoot basic problems?
Makes sense. So what kind of experience should you talk about?
Anything hands-on, even if it seems small. Cleaning ink rollers, replacing parts, fixing a paper jam, it all matters. Show that you're proactive and want to keep things running smoothly.
And they might follow up with, tell me about a time you fixed a press malfunction.
You got it. It's another chance to showcase your problem-solving in action. Pick an example that shows you understand the technical stuff and can think on your feet.
All right, on to color. Question 4. Can you explain the importance of color management in offset printing? This seems less about specific settings and more about the bigger picture.
You nailed it. Color management is making sure colors are accurate and consistent across devices and materials. They want to know you grasp that.
Okay, so how can someone really nail this answer?
Start by explaining the challenge. Monitors, scanners, printers, they can all see color differently. Color management systems kind of create a standardized color profile. It's like translating a language. You're making sure everyone's speaking the same color language.
Yeah, good analogy. I bet they might throw in some terms too.
Oh, for sure. Be ready for CMYK, RGB, Pantone.
Gotta know those mean.
Yeah, knowing the basics of those systems is key.
Okay, question 5. What do you do if a print job goes wrong? Pressure's on for this one.
You bet. Mistakes happen. What they want to see is how you handle the stress.
So how can you demonstrate that you're a good problem solver?
Share a specific example of a time a print job, went wrong.
Okay.
What was the issue? How did you figure it out? What did you do to fix it? Highlight how you think critically, adapt, and find solutions quickly.
I bet they might also ask, what did you learn from that experience?
Oh yeah, shows you're always learning and growing.
Speaking of learning, RoleCatcher has some cool tools that can help.
They do. They have this AI-powered system that analyzes job descriptions.
What does that do?
It figures out the key skills employers want. Then it can suggest how to improve your CV and interview answers.
Wow, so it's like having a personal career coach.
Pretty much. Takes the guesswork out of tailoring your application for each job.
Amazing.
Yep.
And I know they also have video practice.
Yeah, their video practice is game changer. Record yourself answering questions and get AI-powered feedback on your delivery, your content, everything.
So you can practice and get better before the real deal.
Exactly. It's all about using tech to help job seekers.
Awesome. Okay, back to those interview questions. Question 6. Can you explain your experience with different types of printing materials? So it's not all about paper.
Nope. Offset printing works on tons of stuff.
Like what?
Think cardboard, plastic, vinyl, even metal. If you've worked with these, share it. Have you had challenges like ink not sticking or materials warping?
Oh yeah, I could see that happening.
Right. And how did you adapt to get the results you needed? Showing you're a problem solver is key here.
And I bet they might follow up with, what material was the most challenging and why?
That's a good one. It shows you're honest and open to learning.
All right, question 7. This is a technical one. Can you explain your experience with press setup and operation? What's the interviewer really getting at with this?
This is all about your hands-on knowledge. They want to know if you understand the press inside and out, how to set it up right, operate it safely and efficiently.
Okay, so what are the key points to cover here?
Walk them through the setup, step by step. Loading plates, adjusting ink and water levels, setting the pressure, aligning the paper feed.
Sounds pretty detailed.
It is. You're also showing them how you ensure accuracy and maintain that ink density during the run. And if you've worked on different types of offset presses, definitely mention that too.
Yeah, but they'll ask about safety procedures too.
Of course. Safety is super important. Explain the protocols you follow, like wearing protective equipment and knowing the emergency stop.
All right, question 8. Can you explain your experience with digital printing technology? Why ask about digital if we're focusing on offset?
It's the sign of the times.
Okay,
The printing industry is changing. Lots of shops use both offset and digital.
makes sense.
The interviewer wants to know if you're versatile, adaptable, and get the industry trends. Do you understand the pros and cons of each method?
So how should you answer, even if you don't have a lot of digital printing experience?
First, acknowledge that digital printing is becoming more popular. Then just be honest about your experience, even if it's basic. Have you operated a digital printer? Do you understand how it's different from offset? Have you worked with people who specialize in digital?
And they'll probably follow up with something like, when would you choose offset over digital, and vice versa?
Right. That's where understanding what each technology is good at is key. Offset's great for large print runs and specific color nuances, while digital shines for shorter runs and personalization. Knowing when to use which shows you're thinking strategically.
Okay, question 9. How do you stay up to date with the latest printing technology and trends? This is about more than just skills, right?
Yeah, it's about passion and drive to learn.
So how can you demonstrate that?
Mention any industry publications you follow.
Okay.
Magazines, journals, online forums. Talk about attending trade shows or conferences.
Where you can see new tech and meet other professionals.
Exactly. And have you taken any online courses or workshops? It all shows you're a lifelong learner.
And I bet a typical follow-up question would be, what emerging printing tech are you most excited about and why?
Oh, for sure. A chance to show that you're not just keeping up, you're looking for what's next.
Okay, final question in this set. Can you explain your experience with pre-press production? This is about what happens before the printing even starts.
Exactly. It's about getting those files ready to print. They want to see if you understand this stage and how it affects the final product.
What kind of experience should you highlight here?
Talk about your knowledge of pre-press software.
Things like InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator.
Yep, those are the big ones. Have you checked files for things like resolution, color mode, bleed?
I'm not sure I know what all those are, but I'm sure our listeners do.
They're crucial. And have you created proofs to make sure everything's accurate before it goes to the press?
Smart. Catch those errors early.
Right. And a good follow-up might be, tell me about a time you caught a pre-press error that could have messed up the final job.
Perfect opportunity to show your attention to detail. Wow, that was a lot of questions, but super helpful. It's amazing how much depth there is to offset printing.
It really is. It's technical, it's creative, it's problem-solving, and it's a lot of passion.
I'm really struck by how RoleCatcher's AI can help job seekers. I mean, it goes beyond just analyzing job descriptions.
And it does.
It can identify gaps in your experience and tell you how to improve.
And it can help you tailor your CV and answers to each job.
It's like having a roadmap for your job search.
Exactly. And don't forget about the video practice feature.
Right, practicing your answers out loud is so important.
It is. And getting that AI feedback can really make a difference.
So much good stuff to help you get ready for that interview. All right, before we move on, any thoughts so far?
I'm just impressed by how many skills an offset printer needs.
I know, right? Technical know-how, problem solving, attention to detail, communication.
It's definitely a dynamic field.
And I think what's exciting is how it blends traditional craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology.
It's the best of both worlds.
Now, for our listeners, don't go anywhere. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll be exploring even more insights from RoleCatcher's resources to help you really nail that interview and launch your career.
Welcome back to our deep dive. Before we jumped into all those questions, we talked about how offset printing blends technical skills and artistry. It's a really cool mix.
It is. And those questions really showed just how diverse the skills needed are. Now, something RoleCatcher's career guide really hits on is color management. It's essential for offset printing, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. It's like the secret sauce. Even small color variations can make a huge difference. You know, especially with branding and logos.
Right, consistency is key. The guide mentions that interviewers often ask about your experience with different color models, CMYK, RGB, Pantone. Got any tips for handling those questions?
Well, it's about showing you get how color works from the digital world to the printed page. You've got CMYK, which is the model for printing. It uses cyan, magenta, yellow, and black inks to create all those colors. Then there's RGB.
Which is for screens, right?
Exactly. RGB uses red, green, and blue light.
Okay, and what about Pantone?
Pantone is like the universal language for color matching and printing. It makes sure the color is always the same, no matter who's printing or where. Imagine trying to describe a specific shade of blue without a system like that.
Yeah, that would be impossible.
It would be a nightmare. So yeah, knowing these systems is essential. You don't need to be a color expert, but showing you understand the basics tells them you're serious about quality.
The guide also talks about the different materials an offset printer works with. And it's not just paper these days.
Not at all. You could be working with cardboard, plastic, vinyl, even metal. Each material's different, so you've got to adapt your techniques. For example, ink might stick differently to coated paper than uncoated, or a thin plastic sheet could warp when it's drying.
Right, it's all about problem solving. Now, I'm curious about career progression in offset printing. What does that path look like?
Well, the RoleCatcher guide lays out a pretty clear path. You might start as an assistant, helping with setup and learning the ropes. Then you could move up to press operator, actually running the machine and overseeing the whole printing process.
And what about further down the line?
Well, with experience and by continuing to learn, you could become a lead press operator, managing a team and handling multiple projects, or even move into a management role, like production manager, overseeing everything.
That's good to know. There's room for growth. The guide also stresses how important continuous learning is in this field.
Absolutely. New technologies and techniques are always popping up. To stay on top of your game and advance your career, you have to keep learning. That's where things like industry publications, online forums, and conferences come in.
And RoleCatcher can help with that too, right?
Definitely. They have a platform that connects you with resources and learning opportunities. And their AI can actually analyze your skills and suggest areas to improve.
So you can stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get back to those interview questions for a minute. One that really stood out to me was, what do you do if a print job goes wrong? Talk about pressure.
It is. In printing, a small mistake can turn into a big problem. This question is all about seeing if you can stay calm, find the root of the issue, and come up with a solution fast.
So how do you answer this one effectively?
Don't just say you're a good problem solver. Give a specific example.
Yeah, show, don't tell.
Exactly. Tell them about a time a print job went off the rails and walk them through what you did. How did you figure out the problem? What steps did you take to fix it? And what did you learn?
And honesty is key. Everyone makes mistakes.
Oh, yeah. It's what you learn from them that matters.
Another question that seemed kind of unexpected was the one about digital printing technology.
It is a little different, yeah. But it's a smart question. The lines between offset and digital are getting blurrier.
Right, lots of print shops use both now.
Exactly.
So what's the best way to answer this one?
Acknowledge that digital printing's on the rise. Even if your experience is limited, share what you do know. Maybe you've worked with people who are digital printing experts or you've researched it on your own. Just show them that you're aware of the trends and you can adapt.
And be ready to talk about what each method is good at, right?
Definitely. Like, offset is great for large runs and getting those colors just right. Digital's perfect for smaller jobs, personalized stuff, and variable data printing. Knowing when to use, which shows them you can think strategically.
Speaking of valuable skills, the RoleCatcher Guide talks a lot about networking.
It's huge in this industry. Oh, yeah. Building relationships with other printing professionals can open so many doors.
I hadn't thought about that.
Think about it. Industry events, conferences, online forums. Those are all great ways to meet people who share your passion.
And don't forget LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, LinkedIn's essential. You can connect with people, join groups, stay up on trends. You can even use RoleCatcher's AI to make your profile stand out.
Okay, let's talk about the work environment for a minute. What's it like in a typical printing facility?
It's usually pretty busy. Lots of collaboration. You'll be working with designers, pre-press techs, people in the bindery, the whole team.
And it can be physically demanding, right?
It can be. You're on your feet a lot, lifting heavy materials, working around machinery.
It's not a desk job, that's for sure.
Nope. But there's something really satisfying about seeing a project from start to finish, taking a design and turning it into something real, something high quality that you can hold in your hands.
I get that. That's something I really like about printing. You're creating something tangible.
Exactly. It's a craft that combines skill, artistry, and hard work.
Now, as we head into the final part of our deep dive, is there anything that's really stood out to you about this career path?
Honestly, it's the passion that comes through in RoleCatcher's Guide. You can tell these people are dedicated to their craft, and the guide really highlights both the challenges and the rewards.
I agree. It takes a lot of dedication, but it seems like it offers a lot of satisfaction and a chance to be part of a cool community.
Definitely.
Now, for our listeners, stay with us for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll keep exploring these insights and help you nail that offset printer interview. Welcome back. We've covered a lot, haven't we?
We have all the technical stuff, color management, those materials questions, and of course, continuous learning, networking, all those important things.
Right. And we really went deep on those interview questions, gave our listeners the inside scoop on what interviewers are looking for. But there's something else that's key for that interview.
What's that?
It's about showing your passion for offset printing.
Oh, absolutely. You have to convey your enthusiasm, not just your knowledge.
Exactly. So how can you really make that passion come through?
Think back to why you got interested in this field in the first place. What was it that really sparked your interest? The mix of art and tech, the feeling of seeing a design come to life on paper, or maybe the teamwork and energy of a print shop. Whatever it was, tap into that and let it fuel your answers.
I love that. Share those aha moments, those times you knew this was what you wanted to do.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get specific. Talk about projects you've worked on, even if they were just for fun. Tell them about challenges you faced and how you overcame them. Let your personality show.
The RoleCatcher Guide really emphasizes being authentic and engaging.
Interviewers want to see the real you, not just a list of skills.
So relax, be yourself, and let that passion shine. Now, I know RoleCatcher has a ton of interview questions and answers to help with this.
They do. Thousands of questions, all for specific careers, including offset printing. And their AI can help you create custom answers.
How does that work?
It analyzes the job description and suggests what you should focus on so your answers are super relevant.
That's like having a personalized study guide for your interview.
Pretty much. And don't forget about their video practice feature. Record yourself answering questions and get feedback right away.
It's like having a mock interview, but with AI. Okay, before we wrap up, something's been on my mind.
What's that?
With digital printing becoming so popular, I wonder about the future of offset printing.
It's a fair question, but here's the thing. Offset printing isn't going anywhere. It's still the best choice for big projects, high-quality color, and certain special printing techniques.
And RoleCatcher's Guide actually points out that there's still a lot of demand for skilled offset printers.
There is. And they say the key to staying relevant is to embrace innovation and stay ahead of the curve.
So what are some of the things that are shaping the future of offset printing?
Well, we're seeing some cool stuff in web-to-print technologies, which make ordering easier and more accessible. There's also variable data printing, which lets you personalize things on a massive scale. And of course, sustainability is a big focus, with printers using eco-friendly materials and practices.
Sounds like there are a lot of opportunities out there for those who are passionate and adaptable.
For sure. The future is bright for those who keep learning and honing their craft.
Well said. Before we go, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. The printing industry is changing fast, with technology pushing the boundaries. So how do you envision contributing to the future of offset printing? What unique skills, perspectives, or ideas can you bring to the table? We encourage you to explore that question, check out the resources on RoleCatcher, and embark on your own journey into this exciting field. It's full of possibilities for those who are passionate, skilled, and driven to make their mark. And that wraps up our deep dive into the world of offset printing. We hope you found this episode helpful and empowering as you prepare for your interview. Remember, with the right preparation, the right resources, and a whole lot of passion, you can achieve your career goals in this dynamic and rewarding field. A big thank you to RoleCatcher for the fantastic resources that made this deep dive possible. Be sure to visit their website and explore the tools they have for job seekers. They're really incredible.
Game changers, for sure.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.